We believe the narrative of being a woman who is her own boss is a special type of journey that deserves more visibility in today's society. The problems and struggles we face can and should be faced together. We found each other through our shared journeys that resilience is the only answer to fulfilling dreams and callings on our lives. FlyGirls is an intimate look into the creative hustle. Through the stories of women who are dope, determined, optimistic, passionate, energized, we decided to share the power of creativity to empower the world and ourselves. It's time for you to join us. Find a community dedicated to helping you embrace your dopeness. You deserve the right to dream big, design your success, and trust your passion. Welcome. You are the pilot of your own destiny. You are a fly girl, and you believe in what you dream. Welcome back to FlyGirls. You were here with the pilot S.LadyBug, and today we will be co-piloting with the beautiful Porsche Nicole, the poetic activist. Now, just as a reminder, FlyGirls is all about diving deep into the intimate stories of the creative hustle behind beautiful women who are educated, successful, inspiring, and independent. And so today we're going to hear all about Miss Porsche. Yes. Hey, girl.
Hello, girl.
Hey, go, hey. So just as a measure of starting, introduce yourself the proper way.
Well, my name is Porsche Nicole, aka the Poetic Activist. Born and raised in Oakland, Bay Area girl.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Everybody want to be us. But I don't really want to be us, you know.
These are true.
But yeah, I'm just creative and just trying to navigate life and use my art to change the world.
Yeah, exactly. So speaking of which, what kind of events led to you being in this moment of utilizing your creativity to empower or change the world?
I remember the first spoken word I ever saw. And it was by poet Jasmine Mann. She's my favorite poet ever. And she was just so real. And one of the things I always feared about just even my artistry is just being able to be myself, and if people are going to be able to relate to that, people are going to even listen. And just to hear someone just be so transparent, it's kind of like, I don't really care what y'all got to think or what y'all got to say. I'm going to say what's on my heart. Like, that really inspired me to get up and just like, okay, I could do this. I could do this.
So what kind of things do you pull from, meaning like subject matter? I know you say your life, but
oh yeah, definitely.
What kind of things are kind of like your, oh, this is definitely the poetic activist. Yeah. This is her touch. What should people expect when they're going to look for your things?
Social justice is really my number one thing. Like, when it comes to things that are going on in the world, especially what's wrong with the world, like I just tap into that. And a lot of people have actually, recently I performed a couple weeks ago at this event, and a couple people were like, yeah, you kind of rant in your poems. I'm like, yeah, I kind of do, but it's just really just talking about the stuff that really affects people, you know, the stuff that people don't really want to talk about. And so when it comes to social justice issues, you know, racism and sexism and things like that, those are the things that I really thrive on speaking about.
And you're very passionate about.
I am. I'll be going hard in the paint.
Yeah. So some of the things that I think that were exciting for me, just looking through your feed, because you know I'll be trolling. I am a troll.
Me too.
But I'm a troll of like just women, just people I see who are just doing really dope things. Yeah. And I'm looking at you. You have constantly performing. You did the TED Talk.
Yes.
Anytime there's any kind of social justice, as you said, things going on, you're always out and just very present. Yeah. And I'm so happy you're here because people are going to get to experience that today, and that is so important. But even just diving a little bit more deep into your story, what are some of the things that were most exciting this year in just 2018?
Oh, this year. I definitely think doing the Black Women's March, performing at the Black Women's March, the second annual Black Women's March in Sacramento this summer was really the highlight. And I performed last year and it was great, but it was just something about this second time, being surrounded by a multitude of women who are just feeling like, you know, left out, forgotten and everything like that. That was really the highlight. But it takes me back to January, which actually was just like very kind of controversial for me, but I did it anyway. So the Women's March, just for, you know, all women, and where they, you know, they they try to put it out that we're for all women and everything like that, but Black women are really left behind, you know what I'm saying? And so that's why we feel the need to create a Black Women's March. And so they reached out to me, and they wanted me to perform, and I was very leery about it at first. I'm kind of like, well, you guys don't really talk about the issues that people who look like me face. So, you know, what am I going to be doing there? Like, what is my purpose for being there? And I sat down, I thought about it, and I'm like, I need to tell them that. That's what I need to be there for. That's my purpose. And so I wrote this poem, and I was like, these people are not going to like what I have to say, but it's true, you know? And so I got up there and I just spoke about how, you know, we're sitting up here and we're talking about all these issues and things, and that's great, but where's the sympathy and the empathy for Black women? Like, where's the outrage when Black women are dying and things like that? And so by surprise, I actually got a lot of, you know, applause and feedback. Like, several people were coming up to me after and just like, oh my God, like, I'm so sorry, what can I do? And I'm like, just do better, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so those two were really the highlight of this year, because it really helped me to understand, like, whether or not people are going to accept what I have to say, it still needs to be said. So.
And it doesn't really matter what people's opinions
are,
because this is your story to tell.
Exactly.
Or somebody else's story.
Right.
Who was voiceless for whatever reason.
Exactly. And that's my main thing, speaking for people who don't have a voice, like, that's me all the way.
Yeah, so what kind of things are you excited about as far as new projects that are coming up?
Oh, so my latest project, my book.
Ooh.
It's been a long time coming. And again, with just, you know, the reason why it's taken so long, again, worrying about what people have to say and their opinions. And I've just learned how to get out of that. Like, I really have to step away from that and understand, like, this is my story. And even if just one person hears it and it resonates with them, then that's all that matters. So 2019, I'm looking to release.
Do we have a title already?
Yes, it's called Pain is the Fire That Purifies Us. I was like, is that too long a title? But no.
No, it's very poignant.
Yeah. So,
and when everybody can go, oh, and by the way, tell people where they can find you right now. So,
yes, they can find me at thepoeticactivist.com, on Instagram at thepoeticactivist.
Perfect. Yes. Because I think that title is going to resonate, of course, too.
I'm hoping so.
Yeah, and so just thinking about some things that maybe you can share with people who are on their personal journey of not having a voice or just pursuing their talents in some type of way.
Yeah.
What would you tell them? Maybe like 2 or 3 points of, you know, what has been your journey, what you've learned.
With me, I've dealt a lot in my life with rejection. And just always wanting to be accepted. I think we all have that need to be accepted by people, but when it becomes the focal point of our lives, when everything we do is based on what other people are going to think or what other people are going to say, that's when it becomes a problem.
Right.
And so for me, my journey has been to be okay with what my history looks like, be okay with what my past looks like, and not be afraid to share that. Because at the end of the day, like I said before, if only one person is just like, wow, I needed to hear that, then you've done your job, you know?
Exactly.
And to hold that back, again, like, in a way, it's kind of selfish, because it's like someone needs to hear what you have to say. You know, even if it's not for you, it's for someone else. And so I would just say, you just have to trust yourself enough to know that what you have to say is important. And what it is you do, whatever it is, being creative or whatnot, there is a reason and a purpose for what you have inside of you, and you're just gonna have to go forward and just do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Or even if you just need to get it out.
Yeah, just get it out. Because a lot of times too, like, that's with me, like, when it comes to my poetry, it's been a great avenue to just express myself. And sometimes I have the tendency to hold things in, and walking through life carrying all this weight and burden, but it's like, use your art or whatever it is as a vehicle to, like, release yourself from the pressures of the world and such. And so I've been very grateful to have poetry as that avenue. I'm like, I go through all these things in life, and then I'm like, I could just pick up a journal and write, and I'm like, okay, decompress.
So let's talk about that a little bit, just because, you know, as you said, carrying it, and if we were to think about what kind of things can happen as far as health-wise for not releasing, how does it feel for you when you're able to not only release what you're, you know, thinking or feeling or carrying, but when you're beginning to feel or receive other people's feedback? How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel great, you know, honestly. Being that person who, you know, keeps things inside, like, it's just so important to get those things out. And especially when, you know, there are people who it kind of expects you to be perfect. And even at the same time, we think that people are expecting us to be perfect. But really, people are just looking for the real. You know what I'm saying? And so we put on this mask as if like we got it all going on. We have to keep it together all the time. And that's been something that I've been struggling with, where it's like, you don't have to keep it together all the time. Like you can show like, you know what, I'm struggling. I go through things. I have issues, and people are able to relate to that. And so, you know, we just have to get away from this idea that the world has to be perfect and just has to be whole and everything. Like it's not, and it's okay to not be.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's kind of move into a few other things, because we've kind of touched on women and how it feels for you and what this journey has looked like. So let's get a little into politics.
Here we go.
Women in leadership.
Women in leadership.
How important is it?
Very important. Very important. As, you know, I think about young girls. You know, I think about young girls who have aspirations and they have things that they want to do in life. How are they going to be inspired if they don't see examples of that? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so it's so important to have examples of women in leadership so that young girls know, I can do that too, you know? And it's not to say that their dreams will just go to die if there's not, but it's so much harder when you don't see that people who look like you are in the position that you're aspiring to be in.
Right.
So important.
And you mentioned little girls, so who's your targeted audience?
Well, I have such a wide range of an audience. Like, I don't like to ever be boxed in. And again, like with my poetry, I talk about everything. But I think this year it really showed me that people look up to me, and that I gotta really bring it and do it for others. Like I have this poem called Black Girl, and it reached about 30,000 views on YouTube. To me, that's a lot. So I was like, okay, go me. But this year alone, I had so many young girls and young women contacting me through email, Instagram, Facebook, just everything, and just telling me how great the poem was, how much it made them feel important, and how inspired they felt to be a Black woman. And then people who wanted to actually perform my poem, like this one girl, she was in a pageant. She said her talent is going to be spoken word. It'd be her first spoken word ever, and she wanted to do my poem. And I was like, oh my God, like, I take that so seriously, you know, like your words have such power. And so it's like when I'm putting something out there, it's not just, you know, for me to express myself, for me to get things off my chest, but it's to connect with someone. And so for people like, you know, young women and young girls who are looking to find identity, you know, and to find that in something that I've put out there, like that's just like the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
Like I've done my job.
So you've been on stage to perform.
Yes.
You write.
Yes.
You got a book coming.
Yes.
All of these things are leading to what's the biggest ultimate dream?
Ultimately, I just want to be my own boss, 100%. You know, I do this on the side, but eventually I would love to have a brand where I'm doing workshops all the time. Especially one thing that I'm actually working on. I did like a test run workshop, but I really want to work on trauma-focused workshops. And I find that through writing, you can find a lot of healing in that. But I feel like it needs to be so transparent in a way where we get more specific. So, you know, a poetry workshop that's based on being healed from sexual abuse, or being healed from, you know, family issues and things like that. Like I want to be able to take this thing deep, not have it be a surface thing or just something that entertains people, but something that heals people.
Right. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
That is,
I'm like, this is life, like, you know, and I just don't want it to be like, you know, creativity is supposed to be fun and enjoyable, but it also is something that I feel like we need to use to heal people.
Yeah, so. And, you know, we're to a point now where, you know, it's not really any creative avenues within schools.
Right. Oh,
you know,
my God, yes.
And our people are like really crying out.
Yes.
And when I say our people, that's American,
right.
That's young girls, that's young Black girls, that's minorities, we are hurting, and the lack of voice or even lack of experience of understanding. So it's a really, really, really great focus. So before we go into a break, if you were to leave us with just a quote for anyone who's watching you, what would you tell them just in this moment?
Oh, in this moment, I think I would say, be your own person, unafraid of what they think.
And there you have it. When we return, we're going to have our next little segment. I know everyone is excited, so stay tuned to FlyGirls. And again, I am the pilot, S.LadyBug, and I'm co-piloting today with Porsche Kelly. See you soon.
Thank you for supporting FlyGirls. We are mobilizing the stories of dope women around the world. Wouldn't you like the opportunity to introduce your brand to our listeners? Become a sponsor today. And together, we can share the power of creativity to empower the world.
And welcome back to FlyGirls. I am S.LadyBug, the pilot, and I'm co-piloting today with Porsche Kelly, the Poetic activist. So we're going to move into a segment that I like to call Getting Our Roll On.
Okay.
Because we were just talking about how you kind of like decompress through writing. Obviously mine is through crochet and yarn. And so we are going to have a little fun with yarn.
Uh-oh.
Pink is your favorite color, right?
Yes, love it.
So we're going to take that little, let's try a piece at the top. Pull that. That's the beginning. The other side of it.
Uh-oh.
No, let me see. Right here.
There it is. Okay.
So this is, we will be making a yarn ball, but yarn is my way of kind of like utilizing it as like a symbol of life.
Okay.
Just because I use it to create things, and this kind of becomes like my silent prayers, because these are all my thoughts being wrapped into. So we are going to take our thoughts and kind of decompress of a conversation we just had and move into another segment. And so we're just going to start off by wrapping on our hand 5 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And hold it in the middle, and you're going to wrap, kind of like make a bow, and you're going to wrap there 5 times as well. And then you're gonna turn it over, like fold over the 2 pieces.
Okay.
And then now you're gonna kind of like turn so you can make this like little ball. Okay. And you just keep on wrapping and wrapping. So this is why we call it getting your roll on.
Got it. My ball is coming undone.
Oh yeah, it's fine. You just go in and keep on wrapping around and wrap. Keep turning it.
Okay.
And so it's just like life. You got to get the hang of it sometimes when you're starting a new rhythm.
It's not like my life.
I mean, everybody's life, you know, you fall. Sometimes things seem like they're too hard, like you can't do it or whatever, but
gotta just keep going.
This is the way. So while we're having this roll-on session, we're going to talk a little bit about...
Oh, I'm afraid.
This is FlyGirls, so we're going to talk about who's the flyest girl of all past and present.
Okay, let's do it.
Who do you say?
Let's see. You're going to think I'm going to sound cliche for the alive one, but I have to be honest and go with my mom.
Oh, okay.
I know she'll see this eventually. She'll give me juice, give me brownie points. But yeah, my mom, like, I love my mom. She's been through so much in life, and she's just sacrificed so much for like me and my brothers, and has never shown it. You know where people are sacrificing. Oh, I've done this for you and I've done that for you. Like, that's not my mom at all. So like, where I get my fierceness and my like, don't cross me, don't play with me. That comes from mama. Mama from deep East Oakland, you know. So,
she ain't playing with you.
She ain't playing with me. But yeah, like honestly, the inspiration really comes from something that, we kind of discussed earlier, just about the people pleasing. And my mom is definitely one of those people who just lives life and is like, I don't care what nobody got to say, and something that she's really tried to instill in me all my life is you're never going to be satisfied. You're never going to be happy. You're never going to have joy if everything you do is based on what other people think.
Yeah.
Like you got to do you. You got to do what makes you happy. You got to do what brings you joy. And so to focus on, what everybody else has their own stuff going on. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, while you tripping about other people, they looking at you.
Right.
So yeah, mom is she just drops those gems, and she's not that, that invasive type of parent where it's just like, I'm gonna beat this in you. Like, she's like, I'm gonna drop this gem, you take it, you don't. If you don't, I'll still be here to, drop another one. And so yeah, mama got to be the flyest girl I know.
Okay. Yeah. And so speaking of being fly. We're going to talk about this beauty reg.
Oh, yes.
Especially with, this movement of natural hair and melanin popping.
Natural, melanin popping.
Pops of color.
Ball
so what's your beauty reg? I'm seeing this blue in your hair.
Oh, yes. So the hair, like, first of all, I change my hair color about every 2 weeks.
I told you earlier that I was like, oh, I wonder what color she's going to come in with tomorrow. Because I've seen like, pink, blonde.
I've done the silver. I've done the gray, the blonde. I feel that, especially when I first cut my hair, which was back in 2016, I just felt lighter, you know? I just felt like, and I know everybody talks about, you know, the hair thing, especially being a cliche, like after you have a breakup, like you cut your hair. That's what I did. But I'm unashamed.
It looks good.
Yeah.
And you got a nice head shape, so, you know.
People also, like, you got a nice little round little egg head, you know, it just works. I'm like, thank you, okay. But yeah, just like the colors, like I just feel like, especially if it's my personality, just colorful, fun, different. Like I'm just, you know, one day you might get the, you know, the poetic activist, the strong passion one, the next day you might get all goofy, you know, so. Yeah.
And what about quick tips and beauty tips? So lipstick. I mean, I'm loving this color.
Honestly,
that you
my
have.
go-tos, like if I was only given 5 minutes to do my makeup, which I think that's torture, but I would like eyebrows and lipstick. That's number one. So like eyebrows, Anastasia Beverly Hills. Like,
okay.
That is my go-to. Like Sephora, thank you. Have to have that. Lipsticks though, like I was recently talking to someone. I'm just like, I cannot spend more than $10 on lipstick and feel good about myself. Like I feel like I just wasted money.
Right.
So like I will go to Target and get my NYX and call it a day. You know, today I have this little Wet n Wild on. I'm just like, hey, it's $4. Why not? You know? So yeah, you know, I can go the cheap route sometimes. Now foundation, I don't skimp out on. Like you got to spend some money on that.
You definitely do. Yeah. Especially if you want to last all day.
Exactly. I'm like, I'm not trying to look all oily after 2 hours.
So, because I am a designer and I like to build around lifestyle, I did create you something that I'm going to present to you now. And I think you love it.
Oh my God. I'm genuinely excited for this. I love it.
This is like a true like journey of like the colors that I saw your hair. Yes. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to make her hat. And I didn't see a whole lot of pictures with hats on, but I was just like...
No, I love hats. Like, literally, I came from wearing hats like these a lot. And people are like, you wear those hats all the time. I'm like, it's part of my identity. I'm about to bring it back.
Make sure you tag Yarn Movement.
Yes, Yarn Movement all the way. All my friends.
And so we're going to have to take a break. But when we return, you are going to hear the vocals, okay? Of this woman over here. We call her the poetic activist, and you will know her if you don't know her already. And you're going to feel all the compassion and passion that she has that we've been discussing already. So, pilot S.LadyBug, co-piloting with Porsche Nicole, the poetic activist, and stay tuned.
Thank you for supporting FlyGirls. We promote sustainable fashion designers and artisans around the globe. Would you like to increase your awareness and expand your reach? Addiction can help. Sign up for the supplier directory today. Embrace your dopeness.
Welcome back to FlyGirls. I'm your host, S.LadyBug, and I'm so excited you guys get to hear from the poetic activist exclusively on the FlyGirl show. Take us away, girl.
They see me. Pretty little thing come wrapped in a bow. Fierce, strong, powerful, my words. As strong as mama's hand when you've been talking back. Slap you with such truth. You stretch your hands up to God in conviction. Consider what leaves my mouth a blessing, the benediction. I utter not what folk want to hear, but I proceed to give them what they need, me. Transparent, uncovered on an invisible screen, I carefully screen each applicant. The ones in all so adamant they want to put on my shoes. They don't understand I wear stilettos while walking up mountains, going from an empty well to an overflowing fountain of fire. All they see is me at the top, not the climb it took to reach it. Give me a classroom and I'll teach it. Give me a pulpit and I'll preach it, the truth. I used to pretend like I was bulletproof till life hit me so hard that the bullets proved I'm not perfect, but everything opposite. Understanding that perfect people are just slaves to fake who don't know it's okay to make mistakes. I make mistakes, but that's what makes me a fly girl. No J-Lo, imperfect, no halos, a fly girl. And if at first you don't succeed, try girl. I can't nobody stop you, only limit is the sky girl, fly girl. I stopped looking at my world in black and white. I see everything in living color. A young woman of color, learning that she only owes the world her truest self, that her future is only as bright as the mask she takes off, the pride, the discouragement, the fear,
Pain is the fire that purifies us. It took walking through fire to get me here.
And we out here fly, right? We out here fly. So thank you so much, Poetic Activist. Yes. I mean, you felt the energy. Go and follow her today. Today. You heard it. I see you in there, FlyGirls. S.LadyBug, co-piloting with the Poetic Activist today. Be sure to tune into FlyGirls, and we are here to embrace our dopeness. I'm signing out.